They told you the pyramids were tombs, just monuments to kings, stone graves for the dead. But what if that was the greatest misdirection in human history? What if the pyramids weren't built for the dead, but for the living? What if these colossal stone structures weren't just ancient wonders, but cosmic machines designed to align with the stars, awaken consciousness, and preserve knowledge not just for Egypt, but for you? Because hidden beneath sand and silence, beneath every etched glyph and every sacred angle, is a voice, the voice of a being older than history. A keeper of divine knowledge, a master of vibration, of geometry, of time itself. His name is Thoth, the scribe of the gods, the architect of sacred knowledge, the mind behind the mysteries. And if you follow the symbols, the structures, the stars, you'll discover the pyramids were not his tomb. They were his transmitter. His code lives in their angles. His teachings are buried not in stone, but in frequency. And tonight, if you're willing to question everything you've been told, you'll begin to remember what you were always meant to know. So take a breath, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Thoth has been called many things: a scribe, a god, a myth, an ibis-headed figure carved into the walls of ancient temples. But what if he was never meant to be worshipped? What if he was meant to be remembered? Because Thoth was not just a deity in a pantheon. He was a force, a frequency, a living interface between cosmic law and human mind. To the Egyptians, he was Tahuti, master of time, language, magic, and measurement. To the Greeks, he was Hermes Trismegistus, the thrice great messenger. And to the initiates, he was something far older, a survivor of Atlantis, a guardian of the law of one, a builder of bridges between dimensions. He was not born, he arrived. And the knowledge he carried? It wasn't just for priests or pharaohs, it was for you, for anyone ready to rise above chaos and begin to live aligned with truth. Because Thoth did not just teach, he encoded into stone, into vibration, into the very architecture of Earth. And where did he leave his greatest signature? In the pyramids, not as a burial chamber, but as a beacon. So the real question becomes, if Thoth's purpose was not to rule, but to remind, and if his knowledge wasn't hidden in books, but carved in geometry and light, then what exactly were the pyramids built to do? What were they transmitting? Preserving? Activating? Let's go there next. You've seen the pyramids, but you haven't really seen them, because these weren't just built for the eye. They were built for frequency. Each stone, each angle, each alignment was a syllable in a language older than time. The Great Pyramid of Giza isn't simply a triangle on sand. It encodes pi, and the golden ratio. It's aligned within 3/60ths of a degree to true north, something modern engineers still struggle to replicate. It's positioned dead center on the Earth's landmass, and its dimensions reflect the planet itself. This isn't coincidence. It's intelligence. It's intention. It's a mathematical hymn to the cosmos. And Thoth? He was the composer. The pyramids were not tombs. They were instruments, designed to hold, amplify, and transmit universal law through resonance. what the Emerald Tablet encrypted in phrases, and what the Kybalion structured into laws. The pyramid encoded in stone and silence. As above, so below isn't just a teaching, it's a blueprint, one that you can see in the way the pyramid mirrors Orion's belt, or channels cosmic energy through shafts aligned to the stars. These were resonance chambers, amplifiers of consciousness, memory banks for planetary awakening. And here's the part that hits hardest. They still work. Even after millennia, the Great Pyramid still hums, not with sound, but with presence. People feel it. Some say it activates dreams, some experience visions, some walk in one way and come out different. Because it wasn't just built to hold a body, it was built to awaken the mind. So if Thoth encoded law in structure, and that structure is still humming across time, then maybe, just maybe, your soul recognizes it. Maybe that quiet pull to the mysteries isn't nostalgia. Maybe it's activation. Let's go deeper. Let's unlock the real purpose next. You've heard the stories, that the pyramids were tombs, that they were monuments to pharaohs long gone. But if that were true, why is there no body inside the Great Pyramid? Why does it have no inscriptions, no sarcophagus, no decoration, nothing resembling a burial site? Because it was never meant to hold the dead. It was meant to awaken the living. Thoth did not design the pyramids to honor death. He designed them to preserve consciousness, to act as stabilizers of divine law on Earth. The ancient initiates knew the body dies, but the soul continues. And that continuation isn't random. It follows law, vibration, geometry, frequency. The pyramid, then, was not just structure. It was technology, soul technology. It was built to maintain a field, to sustain a vibrational signature, to hold open a portal between the seen and unseen worlds. The king's chamber wasn't for royalty, it was for resonance. The angles, proportions, even the materials, granite, quartz, limestone, were selected not for strength, but for their conductive properties. Each time a seeker entered, laying in silence beneath millions of perfectly aligned stones, they weren't being buried. They were being tuned. Tuned to the rhythm of the universe. Tuned to the truth that all is mind. Tuned to the One. This is what Thoth called the law of eternal light, the ability to maintain one's awareness beyond form. He wasn't trying to conquer death. He was teaching how to outgrow it. Inscriptions tell us that initiates would spend nights inside, lying in absolute darkness, until the body vanished and only awareness remained. And when they emerged, they were never the same, because they had touched the truth, that the soul isn't a spark trapped in flesh. It's the architect of flesh. And the pyramid was its amplifier. You may never lie in that chamber. You may never stand beneath those stones. But the blueprint remains. In geometry, in vibration, and in you. Because the real pyramid wasn't built just in Egypt. It was built inside the mind of every seeker who remembers. And now, you're remembering too. They were never tombs. That's the first truth. Because you see, tombs are for the dead. But the Great Pyramid, silent, perfect, humming with presence, was always for the living. And Thoth knew exactly what he was building. He wasn't creating a monument to be marveled at. He was planting a code, a structure so precise, so aligned, that it would echo long after memory faded. This was not architecture. It was intelligence carved into matter, consciousness rendered in stone. The Great Pyramid holds no pharaoh, no golden casket, no hieroglyphic eulogy. Why? Because it was never meant to store the past. It was built to transmit eternity. Thoth wasn't building for a king. He was building for you, for every soul that would walk this earth and one day ask, "Is there more than this?" He encoded the answer into the very angles of the pyramid. Let's speak clearly now. The dimensions of the Great Pyramid hold pi, the golden ratio, and the curvature of the earth. It's aligned within fractions of a degree to true north. It mirrors the stars in Orion's belt. Its location is the geodetic center of all Earth's landmass. That is not coincidence. That is design. You're not looking at a pile of stones. You're looking at a frequency device, a conscious tool engineered to interact with spirit. Thoth understood something the modern world has forgotten: that geometry is the alphabet of creation. That form is vibration solidified. That when you build in harmony with cosmic law, your creation becomes a bridge between realms. And that's what the pyramid is, a bridge, a portal, a tuning chamber for the soul. The ancients didn't come to the pyramid to mourn. They came to wake up, to lie in the darkness of the king's chamber and let go of the world, to dissolve the body and awaken the eternal self, to hear what cannot be heard with ears. They were not being buried, they were being born again. The stone amplified their vibration, the angles tuned their consciousness, and the silence opened the way inward. Because the real ascension, it doesn't happen in the sky, it happens in the soul. And Thoth left this temple of stone so that even in an age of forgetting, those ready to remember would have something left to guide them. And here's the most important part. That chamber still vibrates, that geometry still sings. Even now, seekers travel from all over the world, and something happens when they step inside. Their breath deepens, their skin tingles, their mind slows, and then opens. They remember something they never learned, a feeling of being connected, realigned, returned to the center. This isn't nostalgia, it's activation, because the pyramid isn't dead, and neither is Thoth. His energy never left. It was stored in angles, in ratios, in frequency. And when you begin to resonate with that same truth, when you begin to live in alignment with divine law, with vibration, intention, and clarity, you become the pyramid. You become the chamber. You become the transmitter. Thoth built the pyramids not to be visited, but to be become. And if you've heard this message today, if it stirred something in you, then maybe it's because some part of you already knows. You've been here before, not just in body, but in soul. And the pyramid wasn't built to last forever. It was built to last until you remembered. And now, you have. He never died. Thoth, the scribe of the gods, the architect of sacred law, the voice behind the veil, did not pass away as mortals do, because he was never just a man. He was a current, a field, a consciousness encoded with divine architecture. And when Atlantis fell, he carried the flame. When Egypt rose, he seeded the law. And when the pyramids were complete, he stepped back, not into shadow, but into frequency. You must understand, Thoth was not bound by form. He could shift from light to flesh, from presence to idea. And when his physical mission ended, he didn't vanish. He diffused into geometry, into vibration, into us. Because the real immortality isn't eternal breath, it's eternal impact. Thoth's energy lives in the Hermetic teachings, in the Emerald Tablet, in the Kybalion, in the silent chambers of the pyramids, and in the initiates, like you, who remember. You've felt it, haven't you? The sudden pull to study ancient wisdom, the unexplainable connection to symbols you've never seen before, the electric knowing when someone speaks of sacred law and your whole body says, yes. That's not coincidence. It's resonance. Thoth's energy is now a signal, broadcast through time, encoded in thought, received only by those with hearts quiet enough to hear it. You are that receiver. Your seeking isn't new. It's ancient. It's memory. Because his presence was never meant to rule. It was meant to awaken. Each time you align your life with truth, each time you choose clarity over chaos, each time you remember the power of your own mind, you're syncing with that signal. You're becoming the temple. You are carrying Thoth's energy forward. He is not gone. He is distributed across every awakened soul, every act of creation aligned with law, every whisper that says, there is more, and I am ready to remember. And now the question is no longer where he is. The question is, what will you do with what he left behind? Because when Thoth returned to the formless, he didn't leave the world empty. He left it with you, and your time to remember is now. Now that you know, you can't unknow. You've walked through myth and geometry, through vibration and memory, through what the world calls history, but your soul knows was never past. Because Thoth never asked to be worshipped. He asked to be understood. Not with blind belief, but with living awareness. With the kind of remembering that doesn't just open your eyes, it awakens your life. The pyramids were never meant to impress. They were meant to endure, to wait, patiently, silently, until someone like you stood still long enough to hear their song. You are that someone. Not just a student, not just a listener. You are a transmitter. You are the afterlife of Thoth's intention. He encoded the law into stone, into vibration, into sky, and into you. So when you choose to live aligned, to think with clarity, to speak with intention, to create with love, to seek without fear, you are fulfilling the purpose of the pyramids. You are becoming the initiate, the temple, the living emerald tablet. And when you live that truth, you don't need to convince the world. You become the signal. So remember this, you were never meant to follow the light. You were meant to be it. And now you know why you've always felt different, why ancient names feel like home, why silence sometimes feels like a presence watching you. It's not watching, it's welcoming. Because you're not just remembering Thoth. Thoth is remembering you. Welcome back, Initiate. You made it.